Welcome to the Future in 15 show. I'm co-host Matt Riley. The Future in 15 show is a series of 15-minute interviews with innovators and entrepreneurs from the events industry. Thanks for joining us.
You have to know your limits and stick within them, because that's most failures start from that. Mm-hmm. People trying to do things that they can't do. That doesn't mean to say that we don't push the boundaries sometimes. Right. We do things that the probability is they're going to work, right. And we've tested it enough. We'll when we're projecting onto a new material or whatever, we'll set it up in the warehouse and we'll experiment and find out what is that sweet spot of the material. Is it this material? Is it that material?
Yeah. But it sounds like it's almost knowing the difference between pushing boundaries and then just period out of your depth.
Yeah. And like I said, my motto is essentially, if it doesn't defy the laws of physics, we'll give it a jolly good go of making it happen for you on your budget. Sure. For sure. And planning is absolutely everything. We did this project with some cubes, and it sounds really simple and it's hard to explain without a picture, but I've got some pictures you can look at later if you're interested. We had this client come along and he said, hey, do you know what? I want this digital strand that runs through my conference, and it's going to be 135 meters long. It's going to go from 0 meters to 8 meters. Every cube is going to be like half a meter square or 400 mil square. Every cube is going to be a different height along this thing. So every cube has an X, a Y, and a Z position in this. And I want to be able to control every cube. It has to work in daylight. And, you've got to get it in 2 days. Whoa. Because everything else comes in under you, all the.
So this is like these cubes make a display that's kind of above the rest of the show.
Basically, in the end, it also got, we want to make it interactive. So you can walk up with your arms outstretched to an LED screen and a Kinect camera, found your body, made your body in cubes, and then you could literally pick the cubes up, scramble them all around, and then push them up. And it ran off of the cubes like this and down the 135 meters. Wow. So the actual attendees, their experience was driving this whole bigger experience.
So there's something going on over your head that another attendee somewhere is controlling that you
exactly that. And the thing that, it sounded pretty hard because it was like 3 months to do. And then, but you start to think about, I've got 2 days to hang 620 boxes in their own 3D space. Mm-hmm. So we had to come up with some innovative ideas. So we built these, if you've been on a Dodgems and you've seen the grid above you that the little copper wire runs around, we made a load of these Dodgem grids that were about 6.5 meters by 2.5 meters. And we then projected the position of each cube onto these grids in the warehouse and numbered them. So it was 1 to 610. And we took each cube and we set its height, its piece of steel, 610 times to the different heights, and we literally got on site, laid out all the grids, flew them up in the air, walked around, went cube 1, cube 2, cube 3, cube 4 for 610, and then flew it out.
So I think that really gets to our topic, because it's not just the idea, it's the expertise, it's the the engineering challenge of actually making it work.
It would be impossible. You couldn't physically measure, and have the flow that this chap wanted, this curving flow. There were 6 lines of cubes that flowed around like that. And it would be impossible. You'd be there for weeks.
Wow.
So that's the thing. You had to solve there were not only engineering challenges, but there were time challenges, and you can't fail, can you?
Like you said, laws of physics, right?
Yeah.
Can't change those.
Yeah.
So Pete, where do you and your staff look for inspiration and new ideas?
Well, I think anyone that knows me will know that I'm a bit of a gadget freak. And so I'm always on the lookout for the next crazy thing. And if you're aspiring to it, I've probably got it. Mm-hmm. So we're surrounded at home with Alexas and Google Homes and strange Ring doorbells and camera for this and Sonos for that, and so that's. I guess you get naturally inquisitive about things like that when you're technically minded. You want to see where's the next innovation coming from, and I'm always scouring the internet, or people started sending me things now. They go, hey, have you seen this? I'm like, yeah, seen it. We've done that. Tried it. It's never going to work. Or quite a lot of times now, people will fake things as well. You know, a client will send you something they've seen, and they'll go, there's the one I always get sent, everyone wants to do is this voil box, where the performer's in the middle doing all the things, and there's this projected box. Tycho Myers, they did it for Tycho Myers in X Factor last season. But it's like almost an impossible job to do. And the one that everyone always sends you, I actually spoke to the guy. I was that interested in making it work for someone. I spoke to the guy and said, how do you do this? And he said, it's all faked in post-production. We boosted all the brightness and did this and did that. And he said it was really hard. Don't even try it.
So it's hard even on video to do it in an actual event in a live setting.
Yeah, and you know, if you've ever attended something like X Factor, you'll know that when what you don't see when the cameras are off, when you're in the ad breaks the magic of the show. If you ever get to go, it's really interesting, but it will ruin it for you because you see everyone running around going, oh, it doesn't work. Oh, no, projector's shifted. Right, do this, do that, you know?
Kind of like how we shoot this show sometimes.
Yeah, maybe. But, you know, in terms of things that you can see, I think an up-and-coming one that I really like is one to watch out for is a thing called Lightform. They're simply at Lightform on Twitter or Instagram. And it's going to revolutionise. Everyone's talking about projection mapping. I've tried to not mention projection mapping, if you notice, or VR, because everyone's always talking about it. So the thing with Lightform, it's quite cool. It's like a little projector camera all in one unit. And we could take like, I don't know, our iPad or something. We could stick it down and this little unit will throw some light at this, like flash all these weird lines and patterns, and it will actually measure the unit and work out its depth and all that, you know, and then it will allow us to projection map onto that object. So instead of us needing a model or getting someone to laser scan it, this little unit will send all these pictures and then look at its camera, read that back in and work out what the model looks like. So you can do all kind of cool things like have some flowers in a vase and projection map them, or a sign or something like that.
So it would project, you know, colours onto the petals of the flowers?
Yeah, it would find the outside of the edge of the petals and will let you really quickly just do like a colour map running around the outside.
Or a logo.
Yeah, or you could take our Hawthorn logo and you could run like a colour around the outline because it can find the outline. And it's like, I don't know, $700. You know, and also not only that, the great thing is you can leave it, because it's a media server as well, you just plug the projector into it and walk away.
So there's no room full of servers that's running this. There's nobody that has to tend to it.
So if you want to do like a quick pop-up, you know, projection mapped thing, it's going to be amazing. But it doesn't come out till November, and you have to be in the queue behind me because I ordered mine.
All right.
About 4 months ago.
Well, you heard it here first. It's funny what you said about, you know, trying not to talk about certain things because everyone's talking about them. But I think, you know, we're talking about where innovation meets expertise. And I think that the expertise part, it helps you to sort, you know, is this something that everybody's talking about it just because it's interesting to talk about and because, you know, people respond to it? Or is this something where we're seeing evolution and it's something that's going to grow and that eventually is going to really move the needle and have an impact on the industry? And I think that's, you know, that's where you need the people who have the experience, who've seen this happen before, who maybe can read the wind a little bit better to see where it's going. Yeah,
you can quickly look at that product and I can tell it's going to be amazing for those quick, you know, pop-up moments where you just want a dirty bit of projection mapping and cheap. You know, that's the other thing. It's not even going to be expensive, so it's like good and cheap, which is quite unusual.
So we've talked about managing client expectations, but what about after the fact? When you're innovating and you're doing something that's never been done before, how do you measure success with that? Or how, you know, what do you look for in terms of return on investment? How do you, you know, how do you know you've done a good job, basically?
I think for me, one of my tiny pleasures is standing by the door on the event when the doors open and all of the clients come in, and it's how many people pull their phone out and take that photo of the thing you've made, you know, and like. We were talking earlier on about this 8-meter diameter projected sphere that was a moon, the planets, for the 50 years of the moon landing. And people were literally walking in and stopping in their tracks, pulling out their phone. And it's an international community as well. You know, it's 1,000 TV buyers from all around the world and pulling out the phone. And everyone was queued up behind them while everyone took their photo, right? Next person coming, move, tick, you know. And that's for me,
somebody
that's job
waiting
done.
in a queue just to capture what you've created.
You know, and then, you know, as we said later on in that event, you know, there was a 1 minute section where an astronaut flew over their heads.
Right.
And everyone, we took a photo from the back ourselves of everyone with their photo, with their cameras out going snappity snap. And
I think it's interesting because you were talking earlier about, when you're sort of reworking the idea to fit the budget and you're looking at what is the attendee experience going to be, and then it sounds like on the back end you're looking at the same thing. It's, did we get the experience that we wanted? Was it memorable for people? Did it stick?
Clients, we coined it the other day. This isn't, the Instagrammable moment.
Right.
And I literally did a presentation the other day. Then the first slide was that someone holding up their phone, snapping that picture. And we were like, what's our next Instagrammable moment? Because that's it. It's the social outreach. It's the experience, as agencies or, people, they want to go, why weren't you here? The fear of missing out crowd, the FOMOs,
Sure.
That's who they're trying to engage. It's like, he was here trying on those trainers. He had those new Nikes on, and they were projection mapped on it, whatever. And you got your photo snapped with it, or the basketball player with the Nikes that you had on, that no one else has had on. And you Instagram that, and everyone who goes, oh, I should have been there.
Right. And who knows what the next moment is going to be.
Exactly. And that's the constant innovation of how can we experientially, take this to another level? What's the experience we can create for people? Not only there, but what's the long tail? What's that social, outreach that we're going to be able to create with this experiential moment?
Right.
How are we going to generate our next conference?
Sure.
What's going to drive people to buy tickets to come next time? They've seen our slide.
Yeah, I'm not missing that again.
No, exactly. What are they going to do this time? If they can do an 11-meter slide, what are these guys going to do next?
What are they going to do next? Sure. So we've talked a lot about innovation in the area of production. I'm wondering if you have any thoughts on the rest of the delegate experience, or where else you think is either like ripe for innovation, or that you think innovation is likely to come in the future.
Yeah, I think one of the things that hasn't really peaked yet is facial recognition for delegate management. There's a few companies doing it now, and we've looked at some systems ourselves, and we're really interested. And you can literally send in like the rubbishest selfie photo before the show, and now you can walk up to a laptop with a pretty cheap webcam, and it will recognise you within maybe 5-10 seconds. And security these days is paramount for quite a lot of our clients. They really don't want this whole business of you ask, are you Peter? Yes.
Yeah, pick a badge.
Yeah, pick a badge. A to Z. The badges are all out there. You choose who you want to be for the day. Everyone's looking for that. What's the next secure step, or how do we make that customer journey simpler? And the facial recognition stuff I think is really cool. Or even tables. How many of you sat and scanned through a table plan, going, right, is it alphabetical by first name, alphabetical by last name, is it by company, is it by table number? Or the screen scrolling around with like 100 names on it each time. You're like, this is insane. Where you can literally walk up, it recognises you, print out, your table, your personalised table plan, sponsor space for a sponsor message. So there's a nice little kick for the sponsor, and you can walk to your table. It's simple. So, why wouldn't you want to do that? And then I think the other area that I see emerging is, I've got a 15-year-old son. He doesn't do anything linear. He doesn't watch TV in a linear way. He doesn't sit there and watch the news, then watch the one show, then EastEnders.
And then watch all the commercials in between.
Yeah, he doesn't. He creates his own show on YouTube or Twitch or whatever. Who knows what he's watching, really. And I think that's, like a breakout like this, a linear breakout. These things will happen still, but the way people consume the output of this will change. Because this... eventually, and it's pretty close now, you'll be able to, in real time, subtitle what we've just done today and hashtag, and get all the keywords out. And then I, as a consumer, could be sitting in the cafe with my iPad and go, I want to learn about expertise in innovation. And this and that and that.
Only specific to facial recognition or something along that. Is that what you
mean?
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So keywords, you could say these are the things I'm interested in, and it would go out to all the breakouts on that day and find those bits of content,
right?
And sort of get
because
2 minutes before.
Facial recognition is the new product that my company is rolling out. That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
I want to hear the latest, and I want to know the people.
Yeah, and I want to know who's talking about it.
Yeah.
And then you'll get this kind of like curated video line for you, and then you could literally go and watch that little bit of clip and then go, yeah, that's amazing. Expand that. Show me more either side of that point. And I think that's where there's a real innovation comes.
So it's taking the innovation beyond the experience that you have in the room and taking it to the content and how that even gets on the schedule in the first place.
Making it, it's long tail again, isn't it? Because once you've done that, it lives on, doesn't it? All that data and keywords can all be, hashtagged and searched.
Right. That's really interesting. Well, I really appreciate you talking with me today. I think it's been really, really useful for our audience, and I want to thank you.
No worries. It's been really great. Thanks for having me.
Cheers.